You're kicking off the phase 5 of MCU. Everybody's expecting that. How long did you cook for that story? Because this is a very important milestones for MCU.
Well, we started formulating the story, I think, as far back as late 2018. The crucial elements we wanted to do were take the audience down to the quantum realm and answer some questions about Janet Van Dyne's past, but also to introduce this major villain in phase 5 of the MCU, Kang the Conqueror, played by Jonathan Majors. Kang was a character who in the Marvel Comics world was a very powerful villain, one of the top villains in the whole history of Marvel Comics. So I was thrilled to be able to bring Kang into this movie. And I love the idea. The Ant-Man movies, have been pretty light in tone. There's a huge comedic component to it. And I like the idea of introducing Kang's energy, because Kang is not a character who suffers fools gladly. Scott Lang attempts to joke around with Kang the Conqueror in this movie, and Kang's not buying it. Kang has an agenda, and he has something he needs Scott Lang for in this movie. Ant-Man, a very unlikely Avenger, to come up against Kang the Conqueror, that seemed like really great drama for us.
But did you always have that story, Quantum Mania story in mind ever since you joined the MCU 8 years ago, when quantum science is not that popular at that time? Did you always have this story for the trilogy?
When we did the rewrites on the first Ant-Man movie with Paul Rudd and Adam McKay, we added this concept at the end of in the third act of the first Ant-Man movie, where Scott has to defeat the villain in that movie, Yellow Jacket, he has to sort of penetrate his suit and go subatomic, and he briefly enters the quantum realm, but manages to get out. And in the second movie, we send Hank Pym down there to rescue his wife. So we had sort of planted the seeds for the quantum realm, and I think in the back of our minds, we felt like if we get to do more Ant-Man movies, it'd be great to go down there and do all of this creating of this incredible civilization, which in the comic books was called the Microverse. So it was my personal feeling. I really wanted to do that, and I got to do that in a big way in this movie.
And you just mentioned that Khan is the biggest villain in Marvel world. You already set up the sky so high. How did the next Marvel movies top that?
Well, it's a challenge, after the events of Avengers Endgame with Thanos, who's an incredibly powerful antagonist in the MCU. Right. How do you do that? And Kang was just sitting there, in the comic books as, well, here's a powerful villain who has dominion over time. He doesn't experience time in a straight line, he can time travel. And then the key thing is that there are variants of Kang. In every universe in the multiverse, there's a different version of Kang. So not only is Kang warring with our heroes in this movie, he's also at war with himself or himselves. These Kangs don't always agree on how the multiverse should be run, or, they have differing worldviews. So that puts them in conflict with each other. And that struck us as a very interesting variation on a villain in the Marvel Universe. Thanos was one character.
Right.
But Kang is many.
And Taiwan has a reputation about making advanced semiconductor as well as a microprocessor.
Yes.
Also related to quantum science, quantum mechanics. Did you talk to any scientific expert, probably in TSMC, in order to make your story accurate?
Yes, from the beginning of the first Ant-Man, we had quantum consultants, people from JPL, and Spiros has been our big quantum consultant. So we talked about everything about, like, if you were able to go subatomic, what would it do to you psychologically? What would it in theory be like down there? And of course now, when we started the first Ant-Man, very few people were talking about quantum computing, and now quantum computing is really the next big, thing on the horizon, technologically speaking. So that was thrilling for us, because in the first Ant-Man 2, we had to, in the comics, it's called the Microverse. We had to come up with a new name for rights reasons. We had to come up with a new name for it, and we landed on the quantum realm. So it's really nice all these years later to really hear the word quantum in use in the real world and see that it, technologically speaking, is really the next big